Fast food isn't just convenient, it's carefully engineered addiction. Behind every bite lies a calculated science designed to keep you coming back for more, not to nourish you. The modern fast food industry thrives on one principle: control the consumer through taste, texture, and habit. Every burger, fry, milkshake is created to hit what food scientists call the bliss point, the exact combination of fat, sugar, salt that overstimulates the brain's pleasure centers. It's the same region that lights up when people experience love or euphoria. The moment you take a bite, your brain floods with dopamine, creating a short-lived sense of satisfaction that fades almost immediately, pushing you to crave another hit. You think you're just hungry, but it's not hunger, it's neurological manipulation. From the packaging to the smell of fries in the air, fast food companies craft an entire sensory experience. That familiar scent of fried oil outside a restaurant isn't accidental, it's pumped out intentionally to draw you in. The colors red and yellow dominate most fast food chains for a reason. Red stimulates appetite, yellow triggers feelings of happiness and energy. It's psychological warfare on your senses, and the battleground is your body. The industry knows that when people are stressed, overworked, or emotionally drained, they'll seek comfort. Fast food fills that void by giving quick pleasure and a false sense of reward. It doesn't heal you. It distracts you. The momentary satisfaction disguises a deeper cost: hormonal imbalance, addiction cycles, and long-term health decline. Your body wasn't designed to process the extreme levels of sodium, refined oils, and synthetic ingredients found in fast food. Over time, this chemical overload confuses your natural hunger cues. You stop eating when you're full and start eating when you're triggered. By smell, by stress, by sight, the brain's reward system adapts, demanding more to feel the same level of pleasure. That's how addiction works. You begin craving certain foods without even being hungry, reaching for that burger or soda, not because your body needs energy, but because your brain wants stimulation. Fast food exploits that biological loophole, feeding not your stomach but your emotions. The manipulation goes deeper. The sugar hidden in sauces, buns, and drinks isn't just about flavor, it's about dependence. Sugar activates the same dopamine pathways as narcotics, making withdrawal feel real. When you stop eating fast food, you might experience irritability, fatigue, or headaches. Not because you're starving, but because your body is detoxing from constant stimulation. The cycle becomes self-reinforcing. Stress drives cravings, fast food provides temporary relief, and the aftermath leaves you feeling worse, prompting more cravings. You begin associating these foods with comfort, celebration, and convenience, until they're woven into the rhythm of your daily life. The corporations behind fast food understand this psychology better than most consumers do. They fund research to find out how to make their products more addictive, not more nutritious. They study how sound and texture affect your satisfaction, how the crunch of fries or the fizz of soda can heighten pleasure. Even the design of drive-through menus is optimized to make you choose high-profit, high-calorie options impulsively. They sell speed, ease, and happiness, but the transaction costs you health, energy, and focus. Most people underestimate how much these subtle manipulations shape their choices. You might tell yourself, it's just one meal, but the human brain thrives on repetition. Every time you indulge in fast food, reinforce the neural pathways that tie pleasure to unhealthy eating. Slowly, real food, fresh vegetables, unprocessed grains, lean proteins, starts to taste bland because your taste buds have been overstimulated by chemicals and artificial flavorings. What once felt satisfying now feels dull. That's exactly how the industry wants it. The more disconnected you become from natural flavors, the easier it is for them to control your cravings. Fast food doesn't just feed your hunger, it feeds your habits. It hijacks your brain chemistry, weakens your discipline, and creates a loop of pleasure and guilt. Every shiny ad and catchy slogan hides the same truth: it's not food, it's formula. A formula crafted to keep you hooked, dependent, and distracted. The sooner you understand this manipulation, the sooner you can reclaim your choices. Real nourishment doesn't seduce your senses, it supports your life. But as long as fast food remains engineered for addiction, the choice between what's easy and what's right will always feel like a battle inside your own mind. Fast food has mastered the art of disguise. What looks delicious, convenient, and harmless on the surface hides a composition that quietly breaks down your body from the inside. These foods are marketed as energy boosters, comfort meals, quick fixes for hunger, but beneath the glossy advertising lies a darker truth: they are chemical traps. The most popular fast food items are not designed to nourish, they're designed to hook. And every single one of them leaves a mark on your metabolism, your hormones, even your mood. The double bacon cheeseburger, for instance, has become a cultural symbol of indulgence. But the real story behind that juicy burger is alarming. The patty often contains low-grade meat mixed with fillers and sodium-based preservatives to increase shelf life. Bacon adds processed nitrates, chemicals proven to increase cancer risk when consumed regularly. Then comes the bun, bleached white flour stripped of fiber and nutrients, spiking your blood sugar instantly. That one sandwich delivers more fat than your body needs in an entire day and more sodium than your kidneys can handle comfortably. You might feel full, but inside, arteries are fighting a silent war. Next comes the deep-fried chicken sandwich, a menu favorite across countless chains. The word crispy hides the truth. It means double-dipped in batter and fried in industrial seed oils heated repeatedly until they form trans fats. These oils don't just clog your arteries, they inflame your entire system. They interfere with your hormones, slow your metabolism, and damage your skin, heart, liver. The sodium content is so extreme that after one sandwich, your body retains water, your blood pressure rises, your cells begin to experience oxidative stress. It's comfort food that leaves your body in chaos. Then there are the fries, the universal side dish that's anything but innocent. Cut, fried, frozen, and refried again, they're saturated with rancid oils. To maintain the golden crispness, fast food companies sometimes coat fries with sugar or corn syrup solids. It gives them that irresistible crunch, but the cost is insulin resistance and inflammation. Over time, these fries contribute to bloating, fatigue, and digestive dysfunction. People think of them as an occasional treat, but the damage accumulates with every serving. Milkshakes and frozen desserts seem like harmless sweets, but one large serving can contain more sugar than 10 donuts. The texture and creaminess don't come from real ice cream, they come from artificial thickeners, stabilizers, and corn syrup. Each sip floods your bloodstream with sugar, triggering an insulin surge followed by a crash. It's an energy roller coaster that leaves you drained and craving more sugar later. Chemical flavorings, labeled natural, on menace, are anything but natural. They're synthesized compounds designed to trick your senses. Fast food breakfast sandwiches and muffins have become morning staples for millions, yet they're one of the most deceptive products of all. The eggs are often made from powder or liquid mixes, the sausage is stuffed with sodium and nitrites, and the bread is sweetened to make it addictive. You think you're starting your day right, but instead, flooding your body with refined carbs and processed fats that spike your blood sugar and drain your energy before noon. The so-called power breakfast is an illusion of productivity powered by chemicals. Then come chicken nuggets, the perfect example of how something marketed as protein can be so far from the truth. Nuggets are made from ground chicken scraps and additives. The mixture is molded into uniform shapes, breaded, and fried in trans fat-rich oil. Many versions contain aluminum-based agents and artificial coloring to keep them visually appealing. Beneath the golden coating lies a processed product that your digestive system barely recognizes as food. Fast food pizza might look like comfort on a plate, but the dough is loaded with refined flour, sugar, and hydrogenated oils. The cheese blend often contains little real dairy, replaced with emulsifiers and vegetable oils that mimic texture. The tomato sauce is spiked with hidden sugar and preservatives. Together, they form a meal that causes digestive stress, hormonal imbalance, and chronic inflammation, while leaving you craving more within hours. Even the so-called healthy options, like burritos and wraps, aren't what they seem. The wraps are made with bleached flour, the fillings are drenched in sodium, heavy sauces, and the meats are often pre-cooked and reheated using chemical preservatives. Each bite may feel light, but the sodium and refined carbs send your insulin and cortisol levels soaring. Over time, that leads to stubborn fat gain, especially around the belly area. Finally, the sweetened coffee drinks, caramel lattes, frappes, and flavored iced coffees, are sugar bombs disguised as beverages. Some contain more calories than a full meal. The syrups are a cocktail of high fructose corn syrup, artificial flavors, and hydrogenated oils that not only elevate blood sugar, but also accelerate skin aging. You get a temporary caffeine rush, followed by a crash that leaves you more tired than before. These 9 foods form the foundation of modern fast food culture. They fill your stomach, but they drain your life force. They satisfy your taste buds, but they silence your body's natural signals. They're engineered for addiction and disguised as convenience. And the scariest part is how normal they've become. Millions eat them daily, unaware that each meal inches them closer to chronic fatigue, heart problems, and metabolic decline. What feels like a simple bite on the go is, in reality, a calculated exchange, your long-term health traded for a moment of pleasure engineered in a lab. Fast food has become a symbol of modern life, quick, easy, and available everywhere. It fits perfectly into the rhythm of busy schedules, late nights, constant motion. But behind the convenience lies a slow and invisible decay that most people don't see until it's too late. Every drive-through order, every meal eaten in haste, carries a cost far greater than the price on the receipt. The body begins to adapt to a diet built on speed and satisfaction rather than nourishment, and over time that adaptation becomes destruction. What starts as fatigue after meals turns into chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalance, and a cascade of long-term health problems. The human body was designed to thrive on whole, natural foods, fresh vegetables, clean proteins, complex carbohydrates, and healthy fats. These foods provide micronutrients, antioxidants, and enzymes that repair and protect. Fast food, however, offers none of that. It delivers calories stripped of life, energy without vitality. Your body receives fuel that burns dirty, leaving behind the metabolic residue of toxins and inflammatory compounds. Bite sends chemical signals that confuse your metabolism. Blood sugar spikes and crashes, cortisol levels rise, and insulin sensitivity drops. Slowly, your body stops responding to hunger and fullness cues, and you find yourself eating more often but feeling less satisfied. One of the first things to deteriorate under the constant influence of fast food is your gut. The refined oils, sugar, preservatives damage the microbiome, the trillions of bacteria that regulate digestion, immunity, and even mood. As your gut bacteria weaken, inflammation spreads throughout your body, affecting your brain and energy levels. You start to feel sluggish, foggy, and emotionally unstable, not realizing that the food you eat is silently rewriting your biology. Over time, this gut disruption leads to nutrient deficiencies because your body can no longer absorb vitamins and minerals effectively. Even if you eat something healthy occasionally, your system is too compromised to use it fully. Your hormones begin to rebel next. Fast food is loaded with ingredients that disrupt hormonal balance, refined carbohydrates that flood the bloodstream with glucose, trans fats that interfere with testosterone and estrogen, and additives that mimic estrogen in the body. For men, this means reduced vitality, lower muscle mass, fatigue. For women, it can mean irregular cycles, mood swings, and skin issues. The body's natural rhythm gets hijacked by artificial ingredients that act like chemical saboteurs. And since hormones control everything from sleep to metabolism, the imbalance spreads into every aspect of life: productivity, confidence, focus, and even relationships. Your heart, the engine that keeps you alive, pays the highest price. The oils used in frying, the sodium in sauces, and the sugars in drinks combine into a perfect storm for cardiovascular damage. They thicken your blood, harden your arteries, and force your heart to work harder with every beat. It doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual. You feel it in shortness of breath, mild chest discomfort, or tiredness after a flight of stairs. By the time the warning signs become clear, the damage has often already taken hold. What seemed like an innocent habit, grabbing fast food after work or on weekends, turns into a pattern that shortens your lifespan one meal at a time. The mind is not spared either. The same ingredients that disturb the body also influence brain chemistry. High sugar and refined fats dull cognitive function, reducing focus and mental clarity. They trigger mood swings, irritability, and anxiety through blood sugar fluctuations and neurotransmitter imbalance. Fast food hijacks the dopamine system just like drugs do. It provides temporary pleasure, then leaves you empty, searching for another fix. That's why after a heavy meal, you might feel sleepy or emotionally drained. The brain's ability to maintain stable energy and attention diminishes because the body is constantly fighting to stabilize its chemistry. Even sleep suffers. The hidden caffeine in sodas and energy-heavy foods keeps your nervous system activated long after you've finished eating. Combined with the sugar and sodium overload, it disturbs your sleep cycles, preventing deep rest. The result is a vicious loop. Poor sleep leads to more cravings for fast food, and more fast food leads to even poorer sleep. It's a cycle designed by modern life but fueled by our habits. The real cost of convenience is not just physical, it's emotional and spiritual. When you rely on fast food, you begin to lose connection with the act of eating. You stop tasting, chewing, and appreciating what nourishes you. Meals become transactions rather than rituals. The body stops being respected and starts being used like a machine that needs quick fuel. That disconnection spreads into your self-image. You start to feel like you're always rushing, always tired, always behind. You lose control over your choices because food no longer feels like something you choose. It feels like something you depend on. The tragedy is that all of this damage builds slowly, quietly, invisibly. You can go months or even years without realizing what's happening. But eventually, the signs show up: sluggish mornings, foggy thoughts, constant cravings, a growing waistline, and a deep sense of fatigue that no coffee can fix. By the time people begin to care, their systems are already overloaded. The fast food industry sells the illusion of freedom: quick meals, no cooking, no waiting, but the result is the exact opposite. You end up trapped in a body that no longer feels alive. In a world flooded with processed options and engineered cravings, finding fast food that genuinely supports health seems impossible. Yet there are rare exceptions. Choices that, when made consciously, can offer genuine nourishment without sacrificing convenience. The truth is, not all fast food is the enemy. The danger lies in blind selection. When you understand what to look for, even a quick meal can become a tool for balance, destruction. The goal isn't to live in constant restriction but to reclaim awareness, to know that some foods still hold integrity amid the chaos of modern menace. Too fast food choices stand out from the rest, not because they're perfect, but because they align closer to real food. The customized grilled chicken salad and the real fruit smoothie made without artificial sweeteners or syrups. They're reminders that the power of choice still belongs to you. The grilled chicken salad, when built intentionally, shift the narrative from fast destruction to fast recovery. The key is customization, skipping the prepackaged sauces, fried toppings, calorie-loaded dressings that defeat its purpose. A grilled chicken base offers lean protein that fuels your muscles and stabilizes blood sugar. The greens, spinach, romaine, or mixed leaves deliver fiber and micronutrients your body craves after a day of processed intake. Adding natural fats like avocado or olive oil doesn't make you fat. It actually helps regulate hormones and keeps you full longer. It's a combination that works with your body rather than against it. The difference is that it's not engineered in a lab. It's assembled from whole, recognizable ingredients that your system can digest and utilize. The beauty of this kind of meal lies in its simplicity. The body doesn't have to decode artificial ingredients or filter out toxins. Every component contributes something functional: vitamins for immunity, fiber for digestion, and amino acids for recovery. Unlike typical fast food, which spikes and crashes your energy, a clean salad sustains it. Don't experience that post-meal fog or lethargy. Instead, you feel lighter, focused, and alert. The body begins to repair, using real nutrients instead of just processing chemicals. It's not glamorous or indulgent. It's grounding. It reminds you what real food feels like inside your system, how calm the body becomes when it receives what it was designed to use. Then comes the second exception: the real fruit smoothie made with whole ingredients and no added sugar. Most commercial smoothies are traps, filled with syrup, concentrate, and ice cream bases disguised as fruit blends. But when made properly, a smoothie can be one of the most efficient fast meals for health and energy. Using whole fruits like bananas, berries, and mangoes, combined with unsweetened yogurt or plant-based milk, creates a nutrient-dense drink rich in antioxidants, fiber, natural sweetness. It hydrates the body, stabilizes blood sugar, and feeds your cells with real energy rather than empty calories. The fiber slows digestion, meaning you stay full longer, and the antioxidants combat the inflammation caused by previous processed meals. It's not about perfection. It's about alignment. Choosing these two options doesn't make you a health saint, but it breaks the cycle of unconscious eating. Reminds your mind that fast food doesn't have to equal junk food. It's possible to find speed and nourishment in the same bite if you learn to see beyond marketing. You become a conscious participant in your health rather than a passive consumer of what corporations decide to sell. This awareness is liberation. The moment you stop being manipulated by the system and start making it work for you. Even psychologically, these choices carry weight. When you order something cleaner, your mind associates that act with self-respect. You're telling yourself that your body matters, even when you're busy. Over time, that small decision compounds into discipline. Your energy improves, your cravings lessen, and your confidence grows. It's not just about eating differently. It's about shifting identity from someone who reacts to hunger into someone who leads with awareness. The salad and smoothie are symbols of that transformation, proof that you can still find clarity in a chaotic world. Your taste buds begin to change too. Once you step away from the high sugar, high fat formulas of typical fast food, real flavors start to return. The sweetness of fruit feels enough without syrup. The freshness of greens starts to satisfy without heavy sauces. The body has a memory. It remembers what's natural once you give it the chance. That's the secret most people never discover. Health doesn't come from deprivation but reconnection. These foods aren't about dieting. They're about realignment with what your biology actually craves. When you make these choices, body begins to thank you in subtle ways. You feel less bloated, more energetic, and mentally sharper. Sleep improves, your skin clears up, your emotions stabilize. The body starts to operate like it's supposed to, efficiently, rhythmically, calmly. You experience the contrast firsthand between food that drains you and food that fuels you. Once you feel that, it becomes hard to go back. That's how true transformation begins, not through strict rules but through awareness that feels good to sustain. These two fast food options represent a bridge between convenience and consciousness. They prove that you don't need to escape modern life to protect your health. You just need to choose differently within it. The same industry that created addiction can, ironically, provide the tools for healing if you learn how to navigate it wisely. It's not the speed that kills, it's the blindness. When you choose wisely, even a quick meal can become a quiet act of self-respect. The difference between nourishment and destruction has always been just one conscious decision away. The modern world runs on speed, distraction, and convenience. People rush through days filled with screens, schedules, and noise, barely aware of the subtle choices shaping their lives. Fast food is just a symptom of a deeper problem: disconnection. It represents how far we've drifted from our own bodies, our own instincts, even our own common sense. We've replaced presence with convenience, nourishment with stimulation. We eat because it's fast, not because it's right. Every time we trade awareness for speed, we give away a piece of control. The real cost of fast food isn't just calories or chemicals, it's the quiet loss of self-mastery. Awareness is what separates conscious living from autopilot existence. When you reach for fast food without thinking, it's not hunger making that decision, it's habit, emotion, and manipulation. The industry knows how to target your weakest moments. It knows you'll crave comfort after stress, sweetness after anger, salt after exhaustion. It has studied your psychology and designed its products accordingly. That's why the battle against fast food isn't fought in the stomach, it's fought in the mind. The more aware you become of these triggers, the harder it is for them to control you. Awareness exposes the illusion of pleasure that fast food sells and shows you the truth, that it's pleasure built on self-destruction. The moment you realize this, something shifts. You begin to see that every meal is a choice, not an accident. You start to understand that every bite either feeds your energy or steals it. Awareness doesn't demand perfection, it demands attention. It's not about avoiding all fast food forever. It's about knowing what it does to you and deciding whether that's worth it. Once you see clearly, can't go back to blindness. You notice how you feel after eating something heavy and greasy. The sluggishness, the fog, the restlessness. You begin to compare it to how you feel after a clean, balanced meal. The contrast becomes undeniable. You realize food isn't just fuel, it's emotion, focus, confidence, and clarity wrapped in a single daily ritual. True transformation begins with small awakenings. The moment you question why you crave certain foods, you start breaking the chain. The moment you pause before ordering, you create space for power. That space is everything. It's where discipline grows. Awareness gives you that pause, the split second where you reclaim choice from conditioning. Over time, those moments accumulate into strength. You stop being reactive. You stop being controlled by marketing, stress, or impulse. You begin to eat and live on purpose. The power of awareness also changes how you see your body. You stop treating it as an inconvenience that needs caffeine to move or sugar to feel better. You start seeing it as an intelligent system constantly communicating with you. Every headache, every mood swing, every crash after eating, it's your body speaking, asking for better. Fast food silences that voice, numbing your sensitivity with artificial highs. Awareness restores it. It reconnects you to your instincts, that inner wisdom that knows what real nourishment feels like. Once that connection returns, your cravings begin to change naturally. You start wanting cleaner foods not because you should, but because they feel good. The wake-up call is not about guilt. It's about remembering power. You have the ability to shape your energy, mood, and longevity with what you eat. Every meal is a message you send to your body, saying either, I care, or don't. The fast food industry profits when people stop caring. Awareness is rebellion against that system. It's the refusal to live unconsciously. It's the decision to feel again, to taste food fully, to chew slowly, to listen to how your body responds. That's where true strength begins, not in willpower, but in understanding. As you become more aware, you notice how everything connects. Food affects how you think, how you sleep, how you show up in the world. Your focus sharpens, your patience grows, your confidence returns because you're no longer being hijacked by cravings. The body becomes lighter, the mind quieter, the emotions steadier. You begin to feel what real energy is, steady, calm, and clear instead of manic and crashing. You stop living in survival mode and start thriving in awareness. This awareness extends beyond food. It begins to shape every choice, what you watch, who you spend time with, how you handle stress. You begin to see that everything you consume, physically or mentally, either feeds life or drains it. Fast food becomes a metaphor for every impulsive decision made without consciousness. And the same way you choose cleaner meals, you start choosing cleaner thoughts, cleaner relationships, cleaner habits. The simple act of paying attention transforms everything. The wake-up call is not loud, it's quiet. It's the moment you look at a menu and feel the pull of old habits, yet choose differently. It's the moment you realize you don't need to numb yourself anymore. It's the moment you see food not as an escape but as an ally. That's when fast food loses its power over you, not because you reject it, but because you've outgrown it. The awareness becomes your armor. You move through the same world, surrounded by the same temptations, yet untouched by them. Because now you know. You see through the illusion. You understand that every small choice, made with awareness, creates a ripple of strength that changes your entire life.